I really resonate with what I've been taught by people living with HIV over the past year. I have so many teachings around traditional medicines that I've been given really on both sides of my ancestral lineage, but I wasn't using them. It caused me to take stock of how I was treating myself, how I was treating my body. HIV saved my life in many ways. It definitely did. I'm from Mistawassa's Sneehiwak, which is in Treaty 6 in Saskatchewan on my father's side with Irish ancestry as well. And on my mom's side, I'm Red River Métis from Winnipeg, Manitoba. As someone who was diagnosed with HIV in September of 2022, I was not well balanced. I was at a point in my life where I was not necessarily paying attention to my own well-being or health because it can feel really easy to kind of hide, right, with all the shame and the stigma, that although it is no longer generally a death sentence, that there is still so much stigma, so much discrimination, criminalization experiences, and that it's not always an easy life for folks living with HIV. With the stigma, the ongoing stigma, the discrimination, the issues around criminalization, and then also the other linkages that colonialism has brought forward, such as the toxic drug crisis that continues to rage on. All of these systemic factors need to be addressed before we're going to be able to eradicate HIV. And to do that, we need significant systemic and structural changes. We, as Indigenous folks living with HIV, need to be leading the way. Have education and enough experience. We've always been leading the way, and we need to continue to be given the opportunities to do that. I've always said that if HIV is going to be cured, my hope would be that it is an Indigenous person living with HIV themselves who finds that cure, and not some fancy scientist. That there are those of us that are in health sciences that completed studies and things like molecular genetic population sciences that have the skills and expertise. And I think that that's where the resources, the mentorship, and the support needs to be given to. And so that we have people living with HIV who are in research and academic institutions to be driving the changes that are needed at that level forward. I'm proud of some of the research that that even I've been part of around looking at HIV cell reservoirs and the movements towards an HIV cure as a science. But someone once recently explained to me that biology-wise, at the cellular level, HIV is very tenacious in how it wants to survive, and just like we want to survive, right? And I really thought that was a helpful explanation as to why it would be so difficult to have eradicated HIV. I think for me, it goes beyond traditional medicines, because as it's been explained to me, those are just as important as accessing conventional Western-based medicines, right? Those have become central to how I approach healing, and also what the meaning of sex positivity would be as well. The healing that I've experienced has really come from this notion of we are the medicine as IPHAs, as Indigenous peoples living with HIV. I look at those who have been in this work for decades. I think having other IPHAs around me has been a huge or significant part of that healing journey for myself, at least. When I was diagnosed with HIV, and I'm really grateful that I did, that I reached out for support. I would just add that is, as elders and knowledge carriers have taught me to do, is really, really important that we reach for the hands that are reaching out to us, right? Because there are going to be people that will be there, will welcome you with loving arms and into this immense circle of support, like other people, Indigenous folks living with HIV. if it wasn't for community, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be alive. It was community who saved my life. And it was people who continue to this day to like lift me up and elevate me into the spaces where I hadn't even dreamt of being in before my diagnosis, to be very honest. And so I just have so much gratitude to those people. Thank you so much for the work that you've done for us. It is not in vain what you have struggled with and what you have fought for those of us who are coming into the circle now. And thank you.